is Jatin Bhagwat. I am a resident of Pune, India. Uh, been here since I was born. Lived in Dubai for about 3.5 years. That's where my real tech journey began. So I'm a typical IT sales, technical guy, where there are a lot of technologies involved. So primarily, I started with Oracle, as an ERP services, and then I switched over to native applications and development. So the whole journey, I have been focusing on the Middle East, Asia Pacific, and parts of Europe, and US, of course, being the key market. So wide experience into technology. So I've had multiple projects coming in, creating applications for enterprises, for small business owners. It's a big, it's a big stack of experience portfolio that I carry.
Yeah, I know you do, and I really appreciate that. Oh, I forgot to say at the beginning, thank you, Brandon Hodde, for letting us use your music. Guy's just amazing. He's got amazing country music, and he lets us use it for everything. In fact, his song "Small Town" is going to be a major theme of promotion for our app. So,
Okay.
I just want to give a little background on how I met Jatin. Is we both were at ICAN Dubai, which, by the way, did you see Autism Connect just won a major award?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, they just won an award as like one of the top autism groups. Isn't that amazing?
That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
I know. I'm really proud of Dolly. So that's how we met, and we just became instant friends, and we spent
Yeah.
almost our entire um, time at the conference together. And then I stayed a little bit longer after the conference, and we met up again and talked. And you really, really, really were amazing because of your tech background, I could bounce so many things off of you. And I explained to you how I really wanted to take the Team Awesomism so much bigger and so much greater, and really become basically a hub for everyone, especially autistic adults, to be able to share their experiences, share their knowledge, speak to people within the community. Because I I just see so many times where autistic adults are being disrespected, and it really
Yes.
bothers me. You
Yep.
know, I see them talk about how they're being disrespected, and that bothers me. And there were 3 incidences that really kind of set me to a point of anger where I felt adamant that something like this had to be done. One was when a father of a young child under the age of 10 proceeded to kind of talk down to me and tell me that if me and Peyton, an autistic adult over 21, if Peyton wanted to have any credibility in autism, we needed to basically do what he said. I was blown away that someone would be that arrogant to talk about an autistic adult that way. And this was somebody within the autism world. And then the other thing that bothered me was I see so many people who want just attention. They want that applause. They're not really out there fighting for the cause of autism. They consider themselves very in tune in the autism world, but don't realize the high rate of suicide among adults, the 75 to 85% unemployment, and all of these kind of things. And I saw a mom one day on Instagram say, if you're not doing this, this, and this, her child's like 5 or 6 years old. If you're not doing this, this, and this, you're not doing good for your child. And I thought, how dare you? How dare you say, because you think something, that you're now putting in these autistic adults' heads, and all these parents of autistic adults, who most of us were really like just, popping along, trying to figure out how to do things, because back then we didn't have the conversations or the access to the materials like people do now. We were trying to do, how dare you act like we did it wrong? Each one of these kids is different. And I think autistic adults, more than anything, should have that voice, should have that ability. And when you and I sat there and we talked about this and we talked about some other issues, you came up with the app idea and for our teammates program to basically be a world game changer for this. And I don't like to use that world game changer, expression because I've seen too many of them sitting in small town USA going, I'm a world changer. And they, use it incorrectly. But we literally, this is one of the things that I love about Team Awesomism is we work with you in India and you travel the world and your company is in America. And, we work with Brits. We work with people in the United Arab Emirates. We work with people in South America. We literally are working with the world. And
Yes.
that's why I appreciate you so much with this app.
The pleasure is all mine, Lynn. It was, if you remember, the conversation started with your idea. I just gave it form. Uh, so basically, let me tell you one thing. So with my experience, I have very little experience, in front of the entire community, but everyone has their own opinion. However, nobody owns, or no one has a right to dictate what goes on in the community, and how anyone should behave in the autistic world. It's our community, and everyone is an equal participant. So no one has a right to dictate their terms, and they should never say that they know a lot and they need to change the world according to them. No, no, it's a community, and everyone has their equal, responses, equal thoughts, and equal views. So it's a team game. It's a kind of a
Exactly.
family game.
Exactly. And that's why when you and I, we kept talking and putting this whole app into action. And what was so great to me about this app was the fact that the roundtables, which I'm having the hardest time getting people to understand my roundtable concept, but the roundtables will be a minimum of 5 people with always having an autistic adult there, a moderator, just someone who can ask the questions and make sure that, people here, and we'll have doctors and lawyers and parents and therapists and small business owners and you name it, every single topic. It can be, we'll bring in hairdressers and stylists to talk about, how you can get prepared for a job interview as an autistic adult, and you name it, the sky's the limit, but we will bring people together so that we plan to do 15 of these roundtables a month and 5 people at each month. That's, like what, 65, 70 people's different opinions every single month. That's in one place. That's not counting all the blogs that we will have, and we'll have lots of guest bloggers and podcasts. We have multiple people who want to have podcasts on there. We have one young man who's autistic who wants to have a podcast, but he doesn't want to do it in the public because he doesn't want people to ridicule him. And
Yeah.
so he knows if he comes into our app and puts his podcast, it's a safe place. We'll give him a voice. Our goal is to give voices.
Exactly. And that's what's been happening, so since I'm into I did a little research. So 90% of today's activities are circular amongst, they're circulated amongst early intervention, for kids. Kids starting from age 3 to maximum 12. All the content, all the teachings, all the lesson planning, all the treatment planning, it's focused on early intervention. uh, it's really sad to say that none, it's like 2% of the overall content is for autistic adults. And those are the people who need the most help, because either A, they have been ignored their entire lives. They have they have that inferiority complex budding in them since a very long time. They become depressive, quite often thinking about in this rat race, they are far behind, not even, in the race. Um, so your idea as to a collective, an application. Now, let me be a little nerdy over here. I'll just quickly pull up what my thought process of this application is.
Mhm.
So I'm going to sound super nerdy and project wise. So the objective of our application is to provide a modern and a comprehensive mobile platform to address the critical needs of autistic adults within the community. So that's my project objective. A little more about where this application is going to be. So I plan to put this application over the cloud, so it is easily accessible worldwide with all the latest security features. And it will be on both Android and OS. We are doing cross-platform, innovation. And more importantly, it's going to give a ton of accessibility features for mid autistic functioning adults. It's going to be we will have features like text to speech. We could have adjustable font sizes. People with a little color disorientation will have different modes of colors, swappable colors and inverted colors to choose from. There could be different methods or inputs of from the users. So people with motor and sensory challenges, they could either use the sensory ball to input, or or a pen. So there are multiple ways in which I'm thinking to put across where we can use this application. What do you think? I mean, I've just
I
thought
love
about
it
it.
so much. I'm so proud to be, it sounds so arrogant, but I don't mean it this way because it's a team that's doing this. It's our whole team. But I'm so proud to be a part of this because we are, one of the things when we were, and you know this because we talked nonstop in Dubai. When we were in Dubai, I was just so impressed with Tom Island. Like my respect for him makes me emotional. He is an autistic adult who wants so badly to get the world to listen to autistic adults that the young man put himself through Toastmasters.
Yeah,
You know, this is this is why this platform is so important because there are a million Tom Islands out there. There's Martin, who we work with all the time. Martin is amazing. Okay. I want Martin to have a voice. I want so many of these autistic adults that Peyton and I, Big Lloyd, all of these guys, Peyton's friends, Janet and Sarah, they all have something to share with the world about their experiences, what they've lived through, where they're going, what has worked for them. Parents of autistics, like there was a woman in that went to our church. She has a daughter, she's in her 50s. I want that mom who's in her 80s to share her experiences. She's been doing this for over 50 years,
absolutely.
you
And
know,
she
and
has no platform to hear a voice.
exactly, exactly. And when Peyton was little, I would have given everything I own to hear an autistic adult tell me it's going to be okay. If I could have seen Tom Island and Martin and Lloyd and Sarah and Janet and Peyton when I was struggling as a parent, I would have been like, it's going to be okay.
Absolutely. And these treatment centers, these centers who, claim that they treat autistics, they do a good job, but in the end, it's a business, right? And they have a specific treatment plan. They go through it, and it's like a defined roadmap for each kid, which which works, which may not work, but what about the practical experiences? What about, like you
Exactly.
said, how to tie shoes, how to cook something, like a small recipe, how to, greet people, how to interact with people, the life lessons. Where will these guys learn it from? There is nothing out there which is going to make them understand or teach them. It's like, how do I explain it?
No,
There's no
you're
hand
right.
holding.
You're right, because and when we traveled the whole country, because you and I were constantly in contact. We traveled the whole country here, the heartland of America. People would say, "Oh, there's this brick and mortar over there," and I'm like, "Exactly," and it services people within a 20-mile radius. What about all of these? There's overflow in the cities. So if there's 150,000, there's maybe brick and mortars to service maybe 15,000. So what about all the other ones? And what about all of them in rural areas? What about all of these kids that are living in towns of 300 or 500? And I tell people all the time, and this is a gospel true story. Peyton and I wore our autism t-shirts every time we traveled. Okay. And every time we went anywhere, we had a bunch of them. And so we would, just go through the t-shirts. And we were in a tiny, tiny little town in Montana.
Mhm.
Okay. And we stopped at this gas station. We would always try to stop in these small towns, go in, get coffee, some snacks, get gas, because, we help put money in their economy. Right. And I walked in, I had my shirt on and I'm paying. And the guy behind the counter, they had under 600 people in this town. He starts sharing autism stories with me of people in that town. There was nothing for them. Okay. And I'm like, this is what our app is going to be for. A
Yes.
parent sitting in a town of 500 people with their son. I told you we were in a Pizza Ranch restaurant and we had our shirts on, and this mom comes up to me and she says, "I'm really sorry to bother you, but do you work in autism?" I said, "Yes." And I told her what we did. And she said, "I have two adult sons. All they do is play video games. They have nothing." And she said, can my sons join, your academy? I need information. I need, and the look in the pain on her face, it's like the mom we met who was in stage 3 cancer with an 18-year-old son. She didn't know who was going to take him.
Yeah.
The sister who told me about her brother who said, "I'm going to kill myself when mom dies because nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about autism." And he's an adult. This is what we're doing this for. And
Yeah.
people were saying to me, "Go share these stories, go share these stories." I'm like, no, number one, they're not my stories to share. And number two, we're not doing this to get people to give us attention. We're doing this behind the scenes. If people understood how hard you and me and the rest of our team work every day, including little Peyton, every single day to make sure that this happens so that we
Yes.
can be game changers and give a voice to all these autistics and have these parents. And this is the other thing. We're going to have 3 levels on the app. We'll have the $5.99 a month, the $9.99, and the $14.99 a month. And they will, with the $9.99 and $14.99, they'll be able to take very accelerated classes,
Yeah.
have access to life coaches that normally would cost them $1,000, and all they'll pay is like $180 a year, and they'll
Yeah.
have access to thousands of dollars worth of stuff.
Absolutely. And like, once, this content, so a lot of content is scattered over the internet, right? So
Mhm.
the main focus of this app is to a central place, say, all these experiences or, recipes, all even the round tables. So I'm going to index those, to make it very easily searchable, so that if any autistic adults want to focus on one particular subject, we can do that, and they can absolutely deep dive into that, into the topic, and learn from it. And these are real life experiences. It's not just some random AI created stories. So
Right.
so real life experiences.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. We're very particular about who is going to be giving these classes. That's why they're separate from the roundtables. The roundtables will be like, the best example I can give to people is, one of the things that parents come to me all the time about is, should I get a power of attorney? Should I set up a special needs trust? Should I become the guardian? Okay, so what we will do is we will pick like 12 different attorneys. We'll have 3 at a time. So we'll have 4 different roundtables. And in those roundtables, there will be an attorney who specializes in special needs trusts. There will be an attorney who specializes in guardianship, and one who specializes in power of attorney. And then we'll have an autistic adult and a parent, not necessarily their parent, but a parent. And then the people that are in the $9.99 and the $15.99 can send in, they can join live, or they can send in questions, so that instead of paying $500 to go sit with an attorney for 30 minutes and get questions, they can join this, ask these questions, and then we will have 4 of these. So we will get so many different opinions that a parent will go, that fits me. This is phenomenal. Now I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Because, parents are diagnosed with PTSD, autistic parents of autistic kids are very often diagnosed with PTSD. If we can not only make life easier for the autistics, but their parents or their siblings or their guardians, like a grandparent or whatever, then that also helps the autistics, because the parents are calmer.
Absolutely. And another thing I loved about, your idea of including small businesses for autistic is, it's going to be like a marketplace where, small businesses come together. Those who support autistic adults. So people joining our community, will have an easy access for businesses, in order to enroll them in the businesses. So it's a straight way. It's not beating around the bush, getting scammed. So a lot of scammers are out there, which technically they fool people.
Yes.
They just promise jobs. Poor autistic adults, they just end up paying money for nothing, and they are just robbed. So this is going to be a legitimate job market, we can say, so that autistic adults have a way and a mean to earn their livelihood and not just depend on social security or their parents. Like, it's going to be something amazing, especially this small businesses.
It is. It and the autistic owned ones, like I have a gentleman who's going to come on as a podcast that started a business doing vertical farming. And it's very easy and he's perfected it to where it's a lot less expensive than a lot of the other ones, you know. And this is something that, like, we can, help bring him on to a roundtable. He'll explain it all. We'll bring in other people. So let's just say an autism family, a parent and a child, an autistic adult, want to start a small business in their home. They can do this. We will totally show them how to do it. He will be available. We'll have an area on here, and they can start this and then go to the farmers markets and sell the food that they've now raised, like the lettuce and the carrots, and go to the farmers market. That will be on there. Okay, so let's just say that all of a sudden another small business, a small restaurant in the area, sees it on the app, and they go, we'll buy your lettuce directly from you. We will build that whole network.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very tight-knit community where we support each other, and we don't have to depend on any third party who are just there to make money. Speaking about money, you remember the other day, some guy asked you, if you are so concerned about the community, why don't you do this for free? You remember?
Yes.
And then and the other one as well. Apps can be made in $200. It's not a big deal. We have to just port the website, in a small screen, that doesn't take money. Well, it's a completely standalone application that we are developing. It's not something minor. So like, there are about 10 guys working on this simultaneously. So each one is focused with their task. So one is developing the UI, second one is developing, the skeleton of the application. There are three guys testing the environment. There are a couple of them, adding features and functionality. So it's like it's a professional application. It's not something minor. It's not something tiny that we are doing. Companies end up spending millions of dollars to build this. And yeah, that's the reason why we are charging people. And with
Yes.
with money comes quality content. We are going to pay people to generate content for us as well.
Exactly. Because when you go to people and say, okay, well, you just do this for free, then people go, well, I don't really have time for that because I'm busy this month. I'm running here, running there, we're doing this. And then we have no high-end content. This way, we will pay people for the content and we will get quality content because it becomes their job. And
Absolutely.
and somebody, and I'm glad you brought that up, because somebody said to me, well, what about if an autism family can't afford it? I said, well, that's why we're getting scholarships. So if you want to go ahead, and if you pay all at once, it's $150, the $14.99, rather than what it turns out to be times 12 months. So okay, like I told somebody the other day, why don't you sponsor 10 families for 1,500 and go find 5 of
Absolutely.
your friends, and then we've got 40 or 50 autism families that we can just give a scholarship to, so to speak. They get the $15.99 for free. you
And
know
they would not realize, how much help they would be doing. For them,
yes,
it would be just $150 for a person, but for that person, the 150 is going to be life changing. They are going to have access to a lot of content, which is really going to help them, grow up into what society calls a normal individual. So
right, no, exactly. And I also want to make this where we have some of our roundtables are just really a lot of fun, and different events that like, okay, in America we have this thing called cornhole, and one of the associations attached to cornhole came to me and said, we thought this would be a good game for autistic adults, okay? Because there are autistic adults who are lonely, very lonely. We want this app, as well as the Academy, which is all under the Team Awesomism umbrella, to become their community where they can share. And if they're sitting in their house and they start, painting, and they want to show their paintings, great. We'll have them on a round table and they can show their paintings, and then they'll be listed in the tab of autism owned businesses, and you can buy from them. Let's give
absolutely.
people a purpose.
Yes. And with our forums, there can be a community where autistic adults can talk to each other. So they share, their experiences, or they can, as simple as how the day is going, and, to make new friends,
Yes.
which is very difficult, if they go outside in the real world. But within this application, it's a small world that we're going to create for them, where they can make friends, where they can, have a lot of fun, listen to good music, learn new recipes. I mean, you are going to share the list of features anyways. Talking about features, I'm going to get a little techie once again.
Okay.
And yeah, I really wanted to, share this. So there would be push notifications, within the app, where they will be informed as to their favorite subject is up, and they would be, I know, I feel the excitement. So my example, there is a game called as Dota 2, and I am a heavy follower. I'm a big fan of Dota 2, and I really wait for the new matches to come up, new tournaments to come up. So I've set up these push notifications, which, tell me that, hey, your game is up and running. So, please join this. So, these are these push notifications that I'm going to enable in the application, so that people who want specific content, they will get a message, a notification saying that, hey, your content is live, please join. Or, hey, this activity or this roundtable is about to start, so why don't you come live? So they don't watch it secondhand, they watch it live. And listening to something live is real fun. And plus, they're going to be in-app messaging and communication, so that people are, the like minds come together and they work on a certain plan. What else? There are so many things that
I
we have
know.
planned. So it's really hard to keep a track. So so as we discussed, we're going to do this in phases. We won't go all in, together. So we are going to divide this into phases, and the most important and the critical aspects are going to come first, and then later, every quarter, every 6 months, we're going to keep on updating the application. So it's a it's a huge thing that we have planned.
It is. And that's why, we've started marketing it as the town square. Because, in smaller towns or in the olden days, people would go to the town square and they had access to everything. They could get their food, a lot of times there were farmers markets. They could, find, stores and doctors and lawyers and the bank and all of this. And that's what this is going to become, is the town square where people can come, they can learn, they can have fun, they can meet other people, they can access so many things. And because there's so much that we're going to be doing, we almost have to do it in phases, or else people will get overwhelmed.
True, true. They will get lost.
Yes. Yeah. Because I've gone on apps before where I'm like, okay, I just walk away from it because it's like so much that I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to almost get anxiety because there's so much to it. Whereas if I phase into it, then once I get this part down, then when I can keep moving on, it makes it so much more exciting.
Absolutely. And let's also plan some tech lessons, since that's my favorite topic. I really would love to give lessons to autistic adults, where anyone interested in technology, I would love to teach them, as to at least be, a beginner level technician in terms of either programming or even fixing computers. If autistic adults get the chance to work as computer technicians, I mean, that's a very good livelihood. I've seen people growing, once they get into this industry. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. These lessons that we are planning.
Well, you're already down for doing that. I just haven't discussed it with you yet.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It just blurted it out.
I know, I'm so excited about all of this because it's just, and I can't wait. You and I talked about we need to put something out so people can kind of grasp it better, because it's so hard to get people to understand exactly what we're doing, because we see it in our head and we have all these conversations among us and our team, and we keep bringing up different things and we keep growing it and keep expanding all the concepts and who's going to be involved, and people jump in, and it's not easy to explain in like a 30-second or a minute or a 2 minute. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because I want people to get as excited as we are. And it's funny because I told you I met somebody a couple weeks ago and I started explaining it to him. We were standing together and he went like this: boom, why hasn't somebody thought of this before? And I was like, I know. He's like, this is brilliant. And I was like, thank you. He's like, no, this is so big. And he just kept going, this is so big. I'm like, that. I said, thank you for two things. Number one, understanding what I'm saying, because I think I lose people because it's, kind of overwhelming. But
Yeah.
also, I needed that. Every so often, somebody will just jump into my Venmo and say, I watched you on, a live on Instagram or something on Twitter, or read a blog, and here, I support what you're doing. Here's $50. Here's $100. That makes my life, because I'm like, the more that people give us, that's the other thing. We're not asking people to give us 10, 20, 30, $40,000. We're saying give us 50, give us 100, give us 500, give us 1,000. You know, give up a cup of coffee at Starbucks once a week, for the next year, and instead support us so that we can change lives. And,
Exactly.
we're not asking you for, I mean, obviously, if you want to give us $20,000, we're not going to say no because there's plenty of space for it. But it's just so exciting to me. And I love the people who pop in and go, here's 50, here's 100, here's 500. Like I had a gentleman gave us $700. I didn't even know he was paying attention to us. And he goes, here's $700. And I said, are you kidding me? He said, no, he put it in my Venmo. And I called him on Instagram because I didn't even know him. He just followed me on Instagram. He said, I so believe in what you're doing and it's a game changer. And
Yeah,
that's what we're going to do. Everyone who gives us the money, and I want to be emphatic on this, everyone who gives us the money, you're going to help us change the game.
absolutely. And with your money, we are going to be self-sustaining very soon. And with your support, our application is going to grow big. And then we are the ones, going to take the other way around. We are going to, start paying people. We are going to, so we need the community support to grow. We need the community to start, to kickstart our idea. And it's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's not. And that's why too, I was talking to a woman the other day and she said to me, well, I don't know how much I can do. I can maybe only do 100 or 200. I said, that'd be awesome. I said, we're not asking. She said, oh, you're serious? That's all you're asking for? I said, yeah. I legitimately had someone one day, it's true. They put $5 into my PayPal. And she wrote me a little note and she said, I'm in a very fixed income and I can't do any more than that. But I have an autistic granddaughter. And anybody that goes out every day and cares as much as you care, she goes, I've been watching you for a while. I didn't even know this woman. She said, this is all I can give. And I wrote her back and said, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. She wrote me back and said, I didn't even expect to hear from you for $5. I said, you don't
It's not
understand.
about money.
Exactly. It's about that you believe in us and that
Yeah.
you believe in helping the autism community.
Yeah. It's not about money. It's not about money that we are trying to, uh, it's just that we are trying to build this place and we need money to build this place. The amount does not matter. Your will, your will to help us out matters. And your money is going to
Exactly.
be put into good use. So
Exactly. And that's exactly what I said to her. I said, look, and then she's like, I know it's only $5. I go, you realize if 1,000 people gave me $5, I'd have $5,000. And she's
absolutely.
like, yeah. And and I'm like, there's over 300 million people in America. If 25,000 people gave us $10, this app would be completely up and running. We'd be paying people and we'd help lower that 75 to 85% autistic adult unemployment cost because we'd be hiring people and bringing it out and help change lives. That's,
Absolutely.
we are, and I try to explain this to people all the time. We are truly a grassroots movement where we want to change lives. It's not about getting big money, because somebody said to me the other day, they came in my DMs and they said, why don't you go to this company? They give out, 250,000, da, da, da. I said, because I don't want some corporation who has a very arm's length attachment to autism start telling autistic adults how their life has to be run. I want these autistic adults, when people are doing 5, 10, 50, 100, 200, 500 hours, they're not trying to run the app. They are believing in us, which we are putting our trust into autistic adults to also give their opinion. And these people who are giving us that other money, they're showing us that they believe in the autistic adults because we're going to run it according to what the autism community wants, not what corporate America wants.
Exactly. And that's the freedom that, it comes at a cost, You remember that the other day I was so sad that, we are like, we want money, wish I could raise some investors, but that's not the way. The right
Who
way is from the community, for the community, it stays within the community.
exactly? And no one has that, massive, pounding on the table, voice where, well, I gave you $50,000, so you're going to do these 12 roundtables. And we're like, but that's not what the autistics want. Because,
Yeah.
Peyton's always asking his friends, what about this? We have Martin, who we work with all the time. I always talk to Martin. When we were on the road, that was part of the reason why we traveled the country. We talked to autistic adults. We talked to their parents. We talked to people in the autism community. What would you like to see on this app? What topics do you want to see discussed? What would really be positive for you to learn about and hear about? And we wrote it all down, and that's all going in the app.
And this is the exact reason why, your past 1 year, you doing your research, spending a lot of your own money doing the research is going to bear fruits, because, that's where it's the base is so strong from you, regarding the application and the overall idea, that it's not something you thought overnight. You have been working on this for the past 3 years. So, this base, your research, your knowledge is going to help generate content and build this application to the T.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's funny because when we were in Dubai, I got so motivated because just hearing all of these, parents and therapists and autistic adults and everybody. And like I told Dolly, the thing I love the most about the ICAN conferences is they bring everybody from around the world, literally, and everybody from all different walks within the autism community together. And I've made some of the most amazing friends, like you, like Azuma, like Karen, all these different people that we've brought together. And all of us have a passion to change the world for autism. And what was so great about that event, and this is what I said to Dolly a couple of weeks ago when I talked to her. When I was there was no competing. There was no how great I am mentality. There was no let's fight for applause, not for a cause. It was all cause driven. Like that doctor from India, like that man was the kindest, gentlest, most amazing human being. And what he was doing to change lives within the autism community. And all of this, I walked away from there going, I have to fight not only for autistic adults, but all of these people because they have the most amazing voices and everybody can't go to these conferences. So let's have like almost a 24/7 conference on this app where they have a voice. And then the conferences like ICAN become an extension of it where you're watching a roundtable with these people and you go, oh, I wish I could just talk to him, like John Payne. That guy is a leader in changing gut health issues. Like he is so amazing. And that man probably has forgotten more than I will ever know, okay, about the gut health and the brain and all this. Okay. He travels the world. He does it he's just such an amazing person. He's so passionate. So somebody like a John Payne, he's running all over and he goes to these conferences and you learn from him. But how awesome would it be to see him on a round table and then be able to go to the ICAN conference and meet him in person so you can
Yeah,
even get to know him better?
absolutely. And why not have a small celebrity status for people who actually care about others, and not just, big other, the movie celebrities. Eh,
Exactly.
it's so different. I mean, people who dedicate their entire lives to the cause that we fight for, it's very easy for us to, just live a normal life. It would be very comfortable. There is no reason to work, so hard for all of this, but it's our passion, to work for this community that is making us, do this. It is our drive. And I'm sure that, this passion is going to help others get connected and, build a bigger community, a stronger one,
I agree.
especially for autistic adults.
I agree. I mean, look at Ritu. You met Ritu. She came and hung out with us, my personal, my dear friend.
Yeah. And
Ritu,
she gave you a gift and she did not give me a gift. Oh, wait, she gave me some sweets.
she gave me 3 gifts. I love her so much.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I know. I love her so much. I know. As a matter of fact, I have the painting that she painted for me. I need to.
Yeah.
I need to do a video of that and put out that painting that she made for me. I have that hanging in my bedroom because I look at it all the time and remind myself. Ritu is a celebrity chef. Okay, like she is a celebrity chef, and this woman, instead of going out there for the praise and the all the oh how great I am as a chef, and I'm not putting down chefs because like Chef Robert Irvine on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 500 to me. Like this man's support of the Academy legitimately has been of Team Awesomism has been so amazing, and I love him. Like there's a man, he's big, but his heart is 100 times bigger than he is as a human. But Ritu, instead of being that, she's an art therapist at the
Yeah.
Rashid Center. Okay,
Yes.
because her heart is so big for autism and special needs that she goes every single day and makes sure that these kids know that somebody cares about them.
Absolutely. And to express themselves through art. I
Yes,
mean, that's one of the easiest things that a kid can do, but they need to, someone needs to teach them. And people like Ritu, they just dedicate their lives to working for the community. It's not just words. It's not just coming on, a small, video and telling how, good I am to treat autistics. No, it's not about that. What do you actually do for them? That's what is important.
exactly. And that's why like you were just saying with the celebrities, and again, there are celebrities that really have a big heart, Robert Irvine being one. Okay. And I love him because he's such a genuine person. But we all over the world tend to idolize people that are great in front of the camera, but aren't necessarily great behind the scenes. And what you just said is exactly right. I want to take the people like Ritu, the people like that doctor, and show the world, look, these guys get up every morning trying to make life just a little bit better for those in the autism community. Because you know what? The autism community, autistic adults have a very high homeless rate and a very high suicide rate. We've got to, as a society around the world, do something to help change that.
Yeah. Because there are very few people in the world who, uh, think about them. And that's the very reason that they feel so lonely. And
Yep.
to those kids out there, to those adults out there, we as a community, the academy is there for you. We are going to help you, stand up, fight for yourself. You're not going to be dependent on anyone but yourself. And we are going to make you, a complete part of the society in whatever way we can. I'm not saying that we're going to, handle things for you, but we are going to give you a very good opportunity and a platform to, make it happen. That's all I
Exactly.
can
We're
say.
going to give you the tools. And
Yes.
and that's the other thing too, is that as we do this, that's why I want the input too. Say we do 20 roundtables and then we have 5 different autistic adults come and say, look, we'd like to have a roundtable about this. Can I be a part of it? Absolutely. Let's put a roundtable together about it. Let's have these discussions because if this is on your heart, we want to help you work through it.
Absolutely. And like we have been discussing in the, in the academy, it's no, we are covering right from the basics to the advanced levels. People don't have to be embarrassed. We are covering gut health. We are covering all the medical problems that the adults go through. We are covering all the basic hygiene, everything. So it's not going to be that you don't have to be embarrassed over here. So, it's for you. It's for
Right.
you that we are going to do, and I simply just can't wait to put all of this together. And talking about that, I am also planning to add some virtual reality and augmented reality, stuff in there, where it will be a little more fun than regular lessons or some videos to watch. So please watch out, the AR and VR, applications within our app as well.
I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And if you're listening to this podcast, please reach out to us if you have any questions, and if you want to join us and help us, please head over to Team Awesomism. It's AWESOMISM.com. And we have Venmo. You can do Venmo, Square, PayPal. We've got multiple ways on there. Every little bit helps. And please know that whatever you give to us, however you support us, it is going to help other people. It is going to make this community even stronger for autistic adults. So
Absolutely.
thank you. We'll definitely do another one of these soon. And I really appreciate, and I know you had a family event that you were supposed to go to. This is how committed we are to all of this.
Yeah.
You and I, listen, you and I are sitting up talking at 3:00 in the morning, my time. So this is not something that we take lightly. We are working all the time on this.
Yes. And I'm sure that we're going to go stronger with everyone's help. And let's catch up soon.
Yes.
And we'll give everyone the update.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Pleasure. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.